Hi folks, hello from Sandviken, Sweden. Sandvik invited us to come over to Sweden to see their headquarters and the Sandvik Coromant Center, where they offer presentations and product demonstrations, and film at the factories, both where they make the inserts as well as where they make what they call soft tools, or the tool holders and tool bodies. It was an awesome trip. There was a group of us, all US-based machine shop owners or machinists, and after we unpacked our bags at this very quaint and very cute bed and breakfast, it was kind of like in a farm or adventure area, they then took us over and we got to do a blacksmithing class. So this wonderful gentleman showed us some very good introductory tips and tricks on how to use the hammer and how to heat the metal and how to use the anvil. And it was quite fun. I think it's safe to say that Alex Steele is safe for now, though. Day one was at the Sandvik Coromant Center showroom. No production here, but a lot of testing. And they had a bunch of demos set up for us that were pretty cool to see in person. The first one is their prime turning. And prime turning is pretty cool because it seems so simple, yet the gains are pretty amazing. Instead of traditional turning, where you generally will turn from the tailstock toward the headstock, prime turning goes backwards. There's some pretty cool obvious and not so obvious reasons why this makes sense. By turning the other way, you're generating a thin and wide chip that helps spread out the load across the insert. You're also keeping all the heat away from that very fragile, sensitive, and smaller nose or tip of the cutting tool. Now, how many people have found that that's the first thing to break or fracture or have coating failure? And the cool thing about prime turning is you get some of those benefits when you are turning the wrong way, but you can still go both ways. There's a benefit that you also get through the chip thinning effect that does generally require CAM software to support it, but more and more CAM packages are including the CAM strategies that take advantage of prime tooling, and Fusion 360, aka HSM Works, already has it. There's two different prime inserts. One kind of looks like a jelly bean. The other looks kind of like a triangle. The jelly bean is for roughing. The triangle is generally for finishing. The really cool thing is if you have a mill turn machine, you can have a single holder that can hold both of them, so you can do roughing and finishing two different inserts without even having to do a tool change. That's awesome. Next up, we were at a beautiful Mazak Integrex mill turn machine. They were doing a demo on face grooving, which gives you the ability to turn rings either on a lathe or a mill turn like this, that you couldn't do unless you had the proper insert and holder geometry. And what they were showing off here were some different strategies around tooling and cutting and coolant to get some pretty impressive results. But the best thing that I took away of is Y-axis parting. This makes so much sense. So we've all used a lathe to part or groove before, and when we push that blade into the part, you can see this red arrow here is where the cutting forces are, and they're pushing down on the relatively weak portion of that blade. But if you have a lathe that has a Y-axis, or you've got something like a mill turn, which is going to give you the functionality to use Y-axis parting like you see on the right-hand side, where we're changing the orientation of how that same insert sits on the blade, and it's amazing. And so you can see here, as the blade is moving into the part, you've got so much more intrinsic stability in that relatively thin tool holder. Next demo, we're over on a Morisiki horizontal machining cell. So this is the kind of thing I think about with production or high volume. And when it comes to things like efficiency, look at this stack. This is awesome. In fact, one of the first times I ever got to go into a machine shop, they happened to be running a stack like this. And I really don't think I've ever seen one since. They've got precision arbors and bushings to space these out. The left hand and the right hand are the Coromant 331, which is a pretty multi-purpose tool. You'll notice that there are different products. The left and the right are in versions of each other. There were two key takeaways from this demo. One, they were talking about how Sandvik came on board to help a manufacturer find this solution that helped them reduce cycle. It's the normal stuff that we hear: reduce cycle times, improve process reliability, maybe take multiple tools or processes and move them into the one. But the other really cool thing is it's the first time we got to see the use of their silent tools. These use a pretty cool technology, and I believe it either is or quite similar to a tuned mass dampener to massively change your ability to have long gauge lengths or long stick out and not chatter. And this is not a gimmick. This is not some marketing talk. This is real technology. These are amazing. So the first demo, they're not using the silent tool, and they're sort of showing we get chatter pretty quick. You're going to potentially break tools, very poor tool life, not a good way to run this. They switch out to the silent tool. Those silent tools are also available in boring bars, and this is amazing. Here they're showing one that's actually Bluetooth connected, so it's able to feed data back to the user, and you can control it from an iPad. I think they've got more of this coming out at IMTS this year. But if it's not obvious, the reason it's silent and you can't hear anything and it seems quite boring is because it's working, and it's working amazingly well. And they're taking a real cut here. I know it doesn't look like it, but seeing this in person is amazing. They've even got a little trade show demo type display where they've got a solid steel bar and a silent tool bar, and they have a hammer waiting for you to pick it up, hit each one, and you can look at the readout and the dampening abilities of the silent tool. Again, when you do it in person, it's just amazing. That's insane. Next demo was pretty cool because we made a complete change. We went from a horizontal machine that's really all about rigidity and production, and we moved over to a DMU60 Evo, a linear machine, lightning fast, really, really good for 5-axis and servicing. And they showed us this part. They're machining a steel replica of an oversized insert, but they talked about, here's how we would tool it up. Here's the high feed mill that we would use for some of the roughing, and here's the 390 that we would use for radial roughing. Here's the 880 drill that we would use to poke the hole through it. And it was actually really interesting to hear somebody else walk through how they would tool up for this job. And it was pretty fun to watch this machine cut and move as well.
Especially when navigations like this, where we just enter and exit cut, it's very important to ensure that the shift goes from thick to thin. The axis by 20 degrees. We will do turning as well. You can see that we have stopped the drill from rotating. No. We're going to do that.
And last, probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen a machine tool do, power skiving. Can't say I'll ever need to do it, but what it's doing is pretty amazing. Instead of using a broach, which is really expensive and usually quite a long type tool and difficult to sharpen, or a hob, which is similar in that it's very expensive and difficult to sharpen and actually quite large, they're using this power skiving head. So what is happening here? We've got this ring that we're going to put these gear teeth on the ID of. It's rotating on this DMG Mori 5-axis machine. It's rotating at a very specific RPM because the spindle is synced to that rotation. It's almost like rigid tapping in a sense. And so as it's feeding that tool down in at a specific angle, it's able to cut those teeth. Just mind-blowing. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Card here to the page where we've got the other videos we were able to film while in Sweden, including some behind the scenes on how Sandvik makes their inserts. I think we were one of the first people they ever let in to film with a camera, as well as the other plant in Nemo where they make the tool bodies, which has some of the most amazing automation I've ever seen in my life. Otherwise, folks, hope you enjoyed. Take care. See you soon.